So hey guys, Keith Rucker here. We're out today at the Georgia Museum of Agriculture. This is where I spend a lot of my time volunteering, doing volunteer work, and where a lot of my shop projects actually originate from, is from here at the museum. I've been volunteering out here for over 20 years, and there's just a lot of neat old things out here. All kinds of mechanical stuff, old equipment, old just miscellaneous things. This is a very hands-on museum where kids and adults alike can come in and actually see how things work, see things being worked. And when you have all those mechanical things, things go wrong. And that's where I kind of come in, is helping to keep things fixed, making parts. A lot of things you just can't go to the store and get parts for anymore. So you need a good machine shop and a good machinist to be able to make things. And again, that's what I do and spend a lot of my time doing. We're in the feed and seed store right now as part of the museum, and you can see there's just all kinds of neat things in here as well. Back behind me here, you see we got our 1917 Vulcan Iron Works steam locomotive. It's an 040, which basically means it just has 4 driver wheels on it. And again, made in 1917, but this is where I spend a fair amount of my time out here at the museum, helping keep this thing running. It's 100 years old this year. 1917 was when it was built. So as you can imagine, on something that old and something as complicated as a steam locomotive, there's lots of moving parts, and there's lots of things that can go wrong and do go wrong. And unfortunately, we don't have a steam locomotive repair shop or parts house here anywhere around. So anytime you need parts for this thing, you basically have to make them. And that's where I come in. With my machine shop skills that I have, I spend a lot of times building parts for this machine, this locomotive, as well as just doing the work on it itself. So I'm hoping that a future project that we're going to have here at the museum is going to be restoring this second locomotive that we have. This is a 1924 Porter 040. It's similar to the Vulcan, a little bit newer. It's also same thing, got 4 driver wheels, and that's all on it. It's a little bit smaller locomotive. The cylinders aren't quite as big on it, but it still would be a nice little engine to have running out here. In fact, probably 15 years ago, this locomotive was running, but it had some mechanical issues, and it just kind of got sidetracked due to budget cuts and what have you. It's just kind of been sitting out here ever since. The Vulcan's been running, so it hasn't been pressing to get this one back in operation. But the museum does have some interest, I think, in getting this one going again, mainly so we can have a backup locomotive, and when we need to do maintenance on one, we can take one out of service for an extended period of time. Right now, if something goes wrong on the Vulcan, we typically run pretty much every Saturday, except in August when the museum closes down. So there's only about a 1-month period out of the year that we can take the Vulcan out of service without disrupting operations at the museum. So having a second locomotive would alleviate a lot of that, and it will also allow us to do better maintenance on both engines. So anyway, if budgets come through and we get to go ahead and do this, this will probably be a project that I'll tackle. It won't be just me doing it, it'll be some other folks out here as well. But what we'd really like to do is literally strip this thing completely down to the ground and rebuild it from the ground up.